So welcome to the fifth video in this series, and today we're looking at pigs. And so I've brought the smallest field I could find on Elm Creek that was close to the animal yard and the shop and the BGA. And we're going to run this one slightly differently because pigs need a lot of crops. So what I ended up doing is deciding that I was going to buy all of the food, and we're just going to see if with buying the food we can run a profitable operation using pigs. So just put down the big pig pen, which holds 240 pigs. Need to put down a manure pit extension to get the manure, because we're going to make some money from selling manure. I'm not doing straw. I'm just going to buy pig food and feed the pigs and see how we get on. I do decide to splash a little bit on a tractor unnecessarily, and after a little bit of pondering we end up going for a nice T6, which is probably overkill given that all it's going to do is pull a and I didn't need the front loader in the end either. It's just going to pull a trailer full of food, manure, a slurry tank and an animal trailer. It's a complete overkill. We could have gone for something much cheaper and saved ourselves some money, but hey. So getting the Stratman trailer with the 12,000 litre capacity to ferry food back. We're buying the big bag of pig food, which are £900, dollars or euros for 1,000 litres. And yeah, what I'm going to do is I end up buying 60 pigs, and we're just going to raise pigs, and as the pen gets full we'll sell the oldest pigs to have space for the new pigs. That's how I ended up running this farm. It may or may not have been the best option. So we have a summary which I'll run through in a moment, and we have the finances. So looking at the finances, first just so from where I started with setting everything up, which we were 150,000 in debt, I think. Basically, we took quite a while. To the first year, we were just losing money buying pig food, and then we got to the point where we sold our pigs and we made some money. We had to buy some more food, we sold some more pigs, and we were basically bouncing around, not really making any money. As you can see from the graph. And when I stopped this in August, we were at the point where we would be selling some more pigs the next month, but I had to cut it off at some point because it had taken a while to do this, even though we weren't actually growing any of the crops. So overall, with buying the food and running the farm, we were, just about breaking even. And I'll cover the food issue in a moment. So looking at the comparisons I did last time, pigs are the green line, and they don't look too bad, do they? But that doesn't take account of the fact that pigs eat a lot of food. So yeah, they look okay. You're looking at making, from the 60 animals at the point where we finished, we'd made a couple of thousand profit on buying those 60 animals per animal. And looking at the comparison per £1,000 spent on animals, they look like they're really good. They're running along with horses, and they look quite respectable, and maybe they're a good option for your farm. But so pigs for me in FS22 aren't quite right, I don't think. So we brought the pigs initially at £525, dollars or euros, and at that point they were mature and ready to start breeding. So you then had 4 months until we got our first piglets. And this is where the issue starts to come in. One pig has one piglet. When you're playing with seasons in FS19, one pig has at least 3 or 4 piglets per litter. And that's part of the problem. So as I said, what I was doing is I kept all of the piglets at first. So we kept the first 3 litters completely. And then as we got to the point where we were having more piglets, I was selling off the oldest pigs because they were worth the most money to make space for the next litter of pigs that comes along. So if you had a bigger pig sty, you could keep them longer so they were worth a bit more. That may be one limitation. The big problem, I think, with pigs is how much food they eat. So over the 2 years that I ran this, they ate 187,000 litres of pig food pretty much, which cost me £168,000. So from selling pigs, we made £161,000. That sounds really good, doesn't it? But we spent £168,000 on buying the food to feed them. Your next question might be, well, why don't you just grow the food? Surely that's cheaper than buying the food. The problem is, so I took maize, barley, canola, and sugar beets, and I worked out how much of each of those we would need to feed the pigs over the 2 years and what those would roughly be worth if you sold them at a good price. They'd be worth £195,000. Yeah, if you feed the pigs the food, you're losing £30,000 worth of your income for 2 years. Plus, you're running the pigs. I was selling the slurry and manure as well, so that's not a bonus on top. If you weren't selling that and you were using it as fertilizer, you'd make less money. So overall, to me, it looks like pigs just aren't economically viable. All of the other animals, yes, they consumed food, but the food they consumed was really cheap to produce. You looked at chickens, you could buy the food and still make money. I was making a profit even if I brought the food with chickens. Sheep, you're just feeding them grass. Grass is, they don't eat that much of it either. Cows, you can make everything from grass. And again, they didn't seem to eat that much of it compared to pigs. And for me, the issue is that the pigs are having a single piglet litter. If the pigs were having a litter of 2 or 3 piglets, then they'd probably be much more economically viable. But as they stand in FS22, when I'm recording this in late December 2021, I don't believe pigs are economically viable to run on a farm. I'm sure someone is going to prove me wrong. And if you do, please let me know how you did it. I ran a very profitable pig farm using Seasons and Maize Plus on FS19, and Maize Plus might change it. Might get Maize Plus, and that will change how the pigs are fed, and that might change the balance so that they become profitable. But at the moment, they're not. You're going to have to grab a lot of crops to feed them, and you might as well just sell the crops, unless you really, really want to be a pig farmer. Scale might help. So if you had a pig pen that held 500 pigs, so you could keep them longer, so they were worth more, that might help. But they're eating more. They eat a lot. So yeah, this the 5th video in the series for me shows pigs don't work, and I'll probably do a summary video. But if I just flash back up the comparison graph, for me, the most profitable animal looking per £1,000 is chickens by far at the moment, with how the balance is in the game. Cows are obviously really good because cows always have been, and horses are really good. Actually, sheep are pretty good as well. The sheep worked out pretty well. I thought, even though their profitability seems low, actually they could make a fairly steady income for you, particularly again if you can do it at scale. But definitely chickens, awesome in FS22. Definitely have some chickens. You want the big chicken pen, not the small chicken pen. If you're watching my survival challenge thing, you'll see that 30 chickens just don't produce that many eggs. You want the bigger chicken pen, which holds 360 chickens. That makes you a lot of eggs, which makes you a lot of money, and they don't eat that much food. And you can still make money buying the food. And if you're not sure on that, go check my video on the chickens that I did, which is in the playlist for this video. Yeah, and that's it for this series. I think I'll probably have to revisit it when Maize Plus comes out. I'll probably do that as part of my general stuff on Maize Plus when we get that at some point in the new year, hopefully. Thanks for watching, folks. If you found these videos useful, then if you're not already, please subscribe. It really helps out. Leave me a comment. That helps as well. It all helps with the YouTube algorithm. Like or dislike the video. They both help with the YouTube algorithm. And I'll catch you next time on Farming Simulator 22.